Hello and a good day, everyone. I hope you had a great week. And now it's time for some more Myst with our little 2-up setup. So that means here in the big picture, or I can swap it if needed, you see the new remaster, and down in the corner you see what the original game looked like. Or I can swap it if you want. Yes, Tree World, exactly. What is it called? Channelwood is apparently the official name. Also confirmed by the name of the files on disk in the original version. It's kind of interesting to see how different it looks. Like, if you see, this is where we came out. Let's go back there for a second. So this elevator is how we arrived, a tree trunk. So you come out here, and you see this fairly big room with a weird vent and some walkways and some water, which, I think you should get the foundation of your building checked if you end up with that much water in your basement. And then if you compare that to the original, so this is how we arrived. And when we step out of the elevator, it's a tiny room with a few tree trunks and the vent on the opposite side. So they've done a bigger redesign here. But hey, I like this one. It's very, very pretty. And yes, so now here we have a nice little preview in the book of how the place will look. And I didn't actually intend to rhyme that. I guess I should add off the hook or something to that rhyme, just to be a little fancier and do my usual not original shtick. We shall see. Oh, we have a nice windmill. That's actually the windmill you see in the old one. So I guess let's push the button and teleport through the book, which again here is bolted on to the tree trunk. This little loading animation with the book flicking pages is nice. Oh, this is gorgeous. Okay, let's just do a quick apologies if the sounds overlap a little. Oh wait, I can tab out, and now you should only hear the old game sounds. So I guess let's put our hand on the book and see how that looks. Alright, that's how that looks. So, let's just, yeah, we arrived here. Oh, this is gorgeous, just amazing. And I mean, the trees look a lot better. I mean, to be fair, in the old one, you only saw the bottom of the tree trunks, or mainly, so it looks a lot more real there. Okay, and again, they've moved up some of the affordances, so if you see in the old one... Oh, apologies, I forgot. Well, I guess I can leave the old one on for now. You bend down. And switch these. And here you get a lever at eye height. Although not sure yet what this lever actually does. I mean, you as a player aren't yet... Oh, now let's switch back to the nicer one on the big screen. Yeah, because those VR players, they steal everything that's not bolted down. Yeah, that's probably why the books are bolted down. So what do you do? That sounded interesting. A loud squeak. But I gotta say, those trees look amazing compared to the original ones. So this kind of looks like a spot we want to be at. So yeah, I mean, we've seen the windmill in the opening frame, so that's kind of the one we want to get to. I think I've heard someone mention that this windmill sound is actually identical to one they used in Abduction, which I haven't been able to confirm yet. Oh, that sounds like water. Can we turn that on? Oh, this is something new. Okay, so the subtitles... Okay, this subtitle is a little weird, but okay. It's cool to have that, though. Although I gotta say, I think I'm going to see if I can switch that one out. Where is it? Oh, I can actually make the mouse cursor larger. Okay, this one doesn't make a difference. But that might actually be nice for my... Although I guess the mouse cursor in-game... Oh, we can use a hand cursor like in the old game. That's nice. Okay, Oh, subtitle language, display dialogue, display game take context. I guess that's the one, yeah. So, but now you can hear water here, so that sounds like we did something good. What else was there? I think there was a second switch. Okay, that doesn't stay. I guess that's the emergency off switch. And I guess that's where the water comes from. That's good at least. Subtitles. Minecraft now also has subtitles. They help you hear caves and sneaky mobs at the last second. That's good, yeah. Yeah, it always feels a little bit like a cheat. So let's go up in the old game and turn on that switch as well. Okay, again, the switch there is okay, so there you can actually hold it and it slowly grinds to a stop. Interesting. Okay, it looks fairly similar, but you can tell they've added some detail. There's a little more rock behind the house now. I did turn that down again. Yes, okay. I'm a little confused because that's because of audio ducking, of course. When I'm speaking, I don't hear the water. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of stairs going up. A frog. Okay, that splash effect was a bit rough, but it's a nice detail, you know. Okay, this water, yeah, goes through the pipe here. Okay. Not sure what this is, but I guess we can't get up these stairs. So I guess this is not what we want to have switched on. So let's go the other direction, and of course that means we should do that in the old game as well. And there you see it's kind of similar, but I guess you can see more of this staircase area from that single spot, which makes sense, you know, because at every junction you kind of want to see, am I going left or am I going right? And what may be there. Okay, so let's go and switch that over as well. And then keep going, I guess. There seems to be some sort of elevator down the right, and that's where the water goes by default. So they're all switched towards the right. So let's just follow those in both. Oh, is there? Yeah, okay, there's another of these. So that means it's probably related to the elevator. Because if you go back here, you actually see there is a box on a rope up there. So I guess something here. Though I'm not sure, I don't think... Seems a little weird because like there seems to be a platform under that elevator. So maybe that one goes one level up instead of down. But this is so much nicer than in the old game. It's so easy, you know, because when you turn, you generally turn 180 degrees, except at the junctures where, you know, you turn towards each of them. And so you can get turned around fairly quickly. Alright. Back there is another elevator. Oh, but... Okay, that doesn't look... We can't go there. Okay, that's... You can see that here at the juncture. If you go back here, you can see the gap in the old game as well. Okay, so that's the same one. And you can see another elevator behind it. By the way, as far as I know, this forest is basically very different in the PC version compared to the Oculus VR version. So the PC VR version, because the Oculus is basically a is basically a cell phone hardware wise. It's they had big problems having all these trees with all these leaves, and had to simplify that a lot. Okay, a sliding door. I didn't expect that. Yeah, this one is actually not a sliding door. This door swings open. I guess I understand why. Because at the point where you're close enough to operate this door here, you know, it would open through your nose. And in VR that would be even more disconcerting. But it really feels weird. You know, I guess in the PC version you could go and just say, you know, nudge the player back a little or something. Even just, you know, temporarily. Like you trigger it and that moment your camera perspective just goes back and then goes back forward. You could do something like that. Okay. And yeah, I guess this is one of the windows that is a little problematic to do right for VR, because depending on how tall you are, you might barely look over it. Ooh, this looks nice. Alright, let's close the door here. What I like about the old levers is that they were red, which kind of gave them more of a utilitarian feel. So basically, what I complained about a little bit on Myst Island, where all the fancy architecture was reduced to being much more simple, here it's kind of the reverse. Like the old wooden door handles are now copper or something like that, or cast iron, and the red painted iron switches that kind of feel like emergency switches or something are now suddenly like, I don't know, brass or copper or something, something a lot more pretty. What's also nice is you can actually look through the gaps here now, which, makes it feel much more real. Oh my god, and you can look down. Not looking forward to that. This creaking wood sound. That makes me feel really uncomfortable. The sound alone. It was much, like in the original, it feels more symbolic because you're not actually walking over something that creaks. But hearing that sound elsewhere, like while you're freely walking around, is a lot scarier. Okay, so if you look at the old one, it's all a lot closer together. So they've extended the distances somewhat up here, I think. Which would imply... Are the walkways? Yeah, I think the walkways are longer as well. If you look down, those look a little bit shorter. So they've made it all larger, which, makes sense again, since you were basically teleporting across these distances, so then they would have had to render intermediate points or something. Oh god. I'm gonna stay here on the solid floor where I cannot look down. Oh, wow. But it's cool that you can actually, you can actually look down here and see where you are. It makes it so much easier to, get yourself oriented. Oh, and there's another level up there. Oh, and over there, you can actually see that's the dead end where we couldn't get through the door, where the water first went, where the stairs go. And there seems to be an elevator, and yeah, I think that might lead to the level up there. So I guess that's what we're gonna have to find. I wonder, can we see that from here? No. No, you can't actually go behind the cabin here. You're just turning sideways if you tap there. Okay. Makes sense, I guess. Interesting also that this door stays open. The one in the old one has closed behind you. Which, programming-wise, totally makes sense. Okay, this sky, you see a few polygons. That's not quite perfect. But, this is gorgeous. I love this. They mentioned that, like, to make these walkways out of repeating planks, they basically wrote a little program that, like, generates them once, like in the 3D editor. So it's not as if they randomly generate these planks each time you play the game, but rather, but what they did was they did it so that if there was a gap, then the one before and after it had to be not a gap. Because, you can just walk over it. You don't have to jump, you don't have to anything. So if there was more than one gap, you would kind of expect to be falling down, and this way you say, okay, I'm just stepping over it, it's fine. Okay. There's some weird plate that is not interactable. And there is another house. But you can actually tell that, this is redone. Because in the old one, that bridge looks very different. Some of it is just, that the wood is darker. Like, basically, I guess, they didn't have that many colors. So they made all the wood basically the same tone in the old game, because they were using palletized colors. And here now you have full color, of course, so you can just make this look like proper inside wood, whereas the bark, of course, is darker. Okay. And this is that one. That looks like a dead end, so I guess let's go explore that first. Again, another gap. Okay. Table. And chairs. Okay. There's another of those plates. Don't know what those are for. But it doesn't look like there's anything we can do here. Though it's interesting, how are they affixed to that tree? I would guess that these are probably stuck into the tree. Which, probably not that good for the tree, but maybe not that harmful. Yeah, and this is basically the same thing in the old version, just a room with some broken bits. So let's go back into the middle and check out that square house, which also, I like that you can walk around the outside here, which is, probably how this was intended, that, no matter if people were sitting here on the inside, I don't know, darning socks or whatever you would do up here, someone else could still pass by. That kind of feels like a sensible design. The house looks fancier in the new version as well, so it's interesting how parts of the game worlds have become, looking much less rotten and damaged and things like that, and others look more damaged, or at least, simpler all of a sudden. And I mean here, the wood itself is okay. There are a few missing planks. But apart from that, it all feels quite solid. Whereas in the old one, the wood itself looked very worn. And some of the planks were, you know, like, not very straight. But that's it, really. So that's interesting. Okay. And again, it's just, you know, because they didn't have to pre-render every node and you have like complete freedom. You can see so much more of the world. Oh. I again instinctively tried to use spacebar to jump. So there's something down there ending as well. I don't really know what that is, that spot. But you can see the planks down there at least. It's also, of course, interesting. My guess is that a lot of these walkways in the original Myst were made because you had to pre-render everything. You know, so to keep you from thinking, well, I should be able to turn off the road here or something like that. So they put a lot of effort into restricting your movement naturally. Which is why down there it's all water and the walkways keep you from walking off into the water, and up here you're in the air, so also you wouldn't just walk off. And you have railings here. You're literally on rails, kind of. There's another elevator. Yep, that's in the old one, visible as well. But I love how you can tell, you know, they rebuilt it from scratch. But it's still, like, obviously the same place. And I like that very much. I think, you know, most of the updates here are kind of something you would expect. Okay, so here is an elevator that goes into one lone single cabin. So my guess is in Portal there would be the little exit logo above this. I think that's... I mean, I partially remember how the old game went. But like this being like this alone, there has to be something in there that we need, and since there are not many inventory puzzles here, I don't think that's a problem. Which reminds me, didn't we have a map of this place? Something... I think this is... This could be it. Yeah, that's the square house. There's a bunch of square houses here, actually. But this is the dead end. So is this where we arrived with the elevator? I don't remember. But I guess if we go here, we sort of go in a circle. So I guess let's try to stay on the outside for now. There's a square building. Okay, there are 2 square buildings here and 2 here. Ah, screw it. I don't know where I am. Oh, I should probably try and... Yeah, okay. Here we are. But you can see, like, these walkways were already in the old version. Oh, this is so beautiful, though. Okay. Someone... I don't know if that's where they dry caught fish or something. Caught, not cod. Okay, let's see if we can... No. That turns us around. Ah, I think I've made the same turn now. This is one of those spots where in the original you can get turned around so easily. You know, because you think you're heading straight forward and then you've actually gone right. Again, a lot of old furniture overturned. Okay, and here? That looks like another dead end, I guess. With a bigger basket. Ooh, this is so nice and explory. I like it. I mean, it's a bit health and safety with those pointy roof beams, posts, whatever. So let's go back and then turn left, I guess. Interesting, there's no walkways underneath us here. So the upper area is obviously a lot larger than the lower area. And it's again interesting how, like, they've added detail. It's like they went and said, well, you know, we were limited in number of objects and, you know, in sharpness. I'm talking so much about, like, game design and not at all about the world. I feel really bad about that. Because, you know, this is such a gorgeous world. Like, it feels like, okay, someone was doing something here. You know, there's all these baskets that they probably used to catch fish, or maybe even, you know, dry fish up here. Why are they hanging here otherwise? And then there are these little vases, I don't know how you would want to pronounce them. And some of these things are like proper longhouses or something. Not many people here and not much going on though. Oh, that's the one that goes up. Yes, so I guess... And this is likely one of the ways we could go back down or something. Oh, wait, Again, yeah. No, I think we turned left. Yeah. Excuse me. There's just so much to see here. Yeah, okay, that's the spot with the stairs, apparently. Hello? Ah, yeah. So that actually looks nice in the old version and very similar. I remember the staircase from the old version. It was very awkward to navigate. I don't know if you can... Yeah, I think you can see it a little bit in the stream. That's a issue of the mobile version mostly. Where you see like the edges of the movie that does the windmill, keeps it rotating. I'm not sure if the windmill is visible from here though, which is interesting. Oh yeah, back here, so you can see it. It has a much better frame rate. So basically this is how we see it in the old game. Let's switch that back to large. But yeah, it's just so nice to see how simple the tricks were. You know, it was pre-rendered 3D, so anything that moved had to be a movie placed over that spot. And of course, a not very large movie. And now these lines around it, those are basically rounding errors, because the old version that I'm playing is the iPhone version, which ran on like a tiny, what was it? I think it was around, the original iPhone was I think around 640 by 480. So about the size of the original Macs on which the original Myst ran. My iPad is much larger that I'm playing on now, and it has Retina resolution, so high DPI, or you know, like basically it uses 4 pixels for every single pixel, and that combined with how division and multiplication in computers and fractional numbers in particular work on PCs and on phones these days and on tablets, floating point numbers as they're called, means it can happen that, you know, in the translation from this used to be 1 pixel and now we're blowing it up to 4, or we're going back down from 4 pixels to 1 and things like that. In these calculations, it can be off by 1 pixel. And that's why you see this flashing and this outline, I guess. Because they seem to have a little rounding error here. Because you have to keep in mind, you know, this is... I think you can see this a little bit. I cropped that off so you can only get the game. But I have a button here which takes the original size that it was on the iPhone and blows it up to about, you know, 150% or something. So it fills my display. But also, it has 4 times as many pixels. And so there's 2 upscaling operations going on there. which, you know, really makes it a bit awkward. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So this door isn't just a door that I can open. It actually has a mechanism. That's, I think that's not there in the old version. In the old version, the door just doesn't open. And I don't see any cables. So that's a good addition, actually. That makes it much more sensible. Does this work? Nope. Okay. But that's actually cool, because for one thing, it means this is probably fully mechanical. So I guess I have to get over there. Alright. Let's go back then, I guess. But the nice thing is, with this, you see this wire going over there, so from a distance, you can find the spot now. In the old version, they often implied, oops, guess you can't see why, but in VR that argument would be implausible if used too often. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Okay, so we want to get over there, but there is no turn sideways, so I guess we'll walk straight through. That's like a huge way around. Like, why would someone build a house like that? But yeah, this makes it a lot more logical. Okay. Now I'm... Well, this is this. So this... No. I'm not sure if this left turn... I think I might have gotten lost. Yeah, I think I took a wrong turn somewhere in the old version. So I guess let's walk... No, that's where we came from. So that's not where we wanted to go. Ah, here. This is the spot I'm seeing now in the old version. So that means if I go in here and then turn... this... Okay. But I don't know... This one looks good. Yeah, here we are. Okay. And for once... Let's see this. This was actually a switch on a pole as well, so it didn't change that much. It actually looks a bit nicer now. But that's it. And I guess they had to raise up the switch because, you know, you had to be looking out forward. So if we go to the old one now and do this first. So you actually saw, I'm not sure if there was much to see for you there, but like, you can actually see something animating over there. It's not very clearly visible though what happened. So let's do that here, and yeah, that opened the door. But yeah, with this wire, it makes much more sense what's going on. You even, like, you look at this and go, where does this go? Oh, over there. So it really builds up expectations, which I like. That, I mean, you know, in a real... in a real-world setting, this pulley mechanism would probably be low for much longer, so that in case you wanted to build a bridge here... Oh, I should switch back, sorry. In case you wanted to build a bridge... You can probably close that door again, yeah. And open it again. You know, it would be below the level of the bridge. And then just here at the back, you know, it would probably come in under the platform and then sneak up. But of course, for us to be able to see it from here, they kind of wanted it to come up as quick as possible. Although I guess another option would have been, you know, raise it straight up here and then have it go across for a real-world setting, so that it's not in the way if you're building another bridge. But alright, here we are, we've opened the door. So let's turn around and go back. Yeah, the way these are built with the diagonal platforms and the pole in the middle, these little intermediate junction buildings, makes it very hard, very difficult to create, to get an idea of where you will be going when you click it. Whereas, of course, in the new version with the 3D, you just walk through it. So I think that is a bit of production design that if I was building a game like this, let's say, I mean, you know, hindsight is 2020. You always know better after seeing someone else's mistakes. But like, you know, having played this, like, if I were to build a game like this, I would definitely try to avoid running into doing like a pole in the middle situation like that. Or, you know, design... Yeah, I would probably try to... I guess I would have probably tried to make it so you can walk around the outside as well. But then, you know, the extra rendering time, maybe that was the original idea, to let you walk around the outside. It's so much easier to find your way in the 3D version. It's so nice. You don't get lost as badly as in the original. Alright, and now, I mean, if you've played any 3D games, you know that, you know, like spiral staircases are kind of annoying because you constantly have to adjust your facing as you go down, you know. I mean, it's nice because you get a nice view of everything around you. Especially in this 3D version, that's gorgeous. But it also feels very awkward. Here you can see they've had a few versions. In Real Myst, this was still fairly awkward to go through here. Oh, and now there's a switch here. And it's open. And so that means we can now, from our starting position, walk up here. You know, which becomes useful if you remember that we redirected the water from here elsewhere. To get to the elevator that led us to the first level. And now we can put the water here and get the elevator to the second level. Okay, let's see how that looked in the old version. And it's, in the old version, it's sort of, whoops, okay, except if you get accidentally turned around, because basically it just, you know, looks forward, so you can just tap in the middle. So there it actually worked fairly well. It's just a number of taps. Like this in... there's this company called Presto. They made Myst 3 Exile. And they made the Journeyman Project games. And basically their games, like, they were the perfect choice for Myst 3. Because what their games were they used these spherical panoramas. Yeah, so they used these spherical panoramas. Which meant that at each location you couldn't just look at one slide and turn by 180 or, you know, 90 degrees or something like that. But actually, you could just fluidly turn around and even look up and down a little bit. So basically it was this, you know, like a huge wide panoramic image that they distorted so it would look as if it was in perspective. And what they did in addition to that is that from each panorama to the next, there were certain spots in the panorama that you could click on, and then it would adjust the panorama to first face exactly the direction. So that means if you had this panorama that let you look around here, and you clicked, say, here, you know, like in that direction, but you were facing towards the lever, the first thing they would do is, like, orient you so you faced there, And then they had a pre-rendered movie of you walking there. And then you ended up at the next panoramic node. That was in the small, preview. Alright, so now both games are in sync again. So I guess we can walk up again. But anyway, and so this staircase is the kind of thing that in a Presto game, you know, later with more modern technology, and I mean Presto, their games were released after Myst. So they had faster drives, they had faster rendering, they had... I'm not sure, they might have already had DVDs, not just CDs. So that means, you know, CDs are about 650 megabytes. So let's just, you know, roughly say 500 megabytes, so half a gigabyte. And a DVD, the first ones were about 4 gigabyte. So that means on one disc, they probably had 8 times as much room for all of their stuff. Of course, all their graphics also had to be, you know, for larger screens, and they were these panoramas, so there was a little more picture. But, you know, if you look at a panorama, it's maybe, you know, the size of 4 pictures, because the clever thing about these panoramic images is just that you can rotate them, that you can just show a subsection, and it looks like 3D. You know, remember, if you're in a 3D... let's switch back to make the big one here. In a 3D situation, like if you look at the tree here, it seems to get smaller towards the top. But in general, it gets... the lines, if you look straight at it, are parallel, almost. And then as you go up, the lines change so that the lines closer to you, so in this case the ones at the bottom, are wider apart, and the ones farther from you are a little closer together, you know, seem to get narrower. Because that's just how our eye sees things in the distance. Things in the distance are smaller than things that are nearby. And so you can't just, you know, take a really wide picture, or take like a picture on the left, a picture on the right, a picture forward, stitch them together, you know, glue them together, I mean, and, you know, it will still look like 3 separate pictures, because where things get smaller is always at the edges, so they won't fit at the edges and things like that. And that's what these panoramic images that Presto used did, or fixed. That was a bit of a popping. You see that? Like, here in the distance it's dark, and as we get closer, suddenly that shadow becomes lighter. So you can kind of tell, okay, in the distance they use a different shadow algorithm, a different lighting algorithm. Now you get more detailed lighting. They turned on a few extra lights to make some things, you know, just slightly darker. But anyway, yeah, and so this staircase in Presto games would probably have been, you go here where the switch is, and then you click forward, and you would just see a movie that has you walk up and turn, you know. So you get that nice little view, and then you end up eventually upstairs, you know, kind of like that. And then here would be another panorama where you can turn around yourself, or probably more like here, you know, so that you can see all the interesting objects. Alright, so let's walk that up in the old game as well. And it's also interesting, there's a bunch of companies that are kind of connected and related in some ways. Like, if I had to say what are the two best companies of, the Myst-like genre, like who made the best, most immersive games in this style, at that time, or roughly around that time, I would say it's Cyan and Presto. And funnily, Presto got hired to do Myst 3 because Cyan recognized that and said, hey, we want to focus on our multiplayer online game, so let's have someone else create the game, the next single player game. Whereas if you look at alright, now we want this elevator, right? Would have almost tried to walk off now. Okay, let's elevate. Yeah, so I'm just really impressed by what they did, like how these companies are then connected, because it's such a close, such a small step from between competitor and partner, because you're people who are interested in the same thing. And so sometimes, by the toss of a coin, someone goes, hey, I'll hire you as a partner. And then maybe a year later, the company hired as a partner goes, yeah, well, but we're going to keep making our games, of course. And so you find yourself competing for the same Christmas customers or whatever, And that's always fascinating. It's, sometimes that happens more subtly, where you have, where you have two companies that work on, complementary things. So, I don't know what example I could come up with. I was actually thinking of a concrete case, but actually I don't remember the details of what the products were in this case, so I can't even use the example I was thinking of. But let's try and remember. Anyway, so it could be that, like more recent one maybe. You have car manufacturers who, make cars and people drive around in them. And you have car rental services who take, who buy cars and rent them out to people to drive around in. And, you would think, well, really more a partner situation. The car rental service buys the cars. But on the other hand, the car manufacturer often has situations where, they don't, they have cars that were returned, for instance, and that are, fine, but they are basically used cars now. And so you can't sell them for the same money. So what would you do? And one solution that some car manufacturers have found these days is they created car rental services of their own. And just whenever they have a car that they're not, that they can't sell, or that, got returned with slight, usage traces or something, so they would have to sell them for less or whatever, they can now. This is, by the way, I'm not really into that part of the business, so I might be making up like how they do it, but it's a good enough example. It feels truthy enough. And I know that car manufacturers own car rental services. And so, at least certain cases I know. And so they can just take those cars and, rent them out instead. And so the car rental service makes money from that, and probably in the long term makes more money than if they had sold this as a refurbished car, or whatever you would call it in that case. Okay, this is, by the way, interesting. Like, we rode... Oh no, wait, it's not interesting. I forgot. I wanted to do this. I wanted to switch to the old game, close the door, and actually use the elevator. Alright. For a moment I thought, oh wait, there's a house right in front of us, and here there isn't, but I was still downstairs. Alright. So these two spots actually look fairly similar, except that instead of this straight walkway, they've now used the same building style that they're using downstairs for this platform. Which, I mean, these holes are a bit unsafe, I would say. But still, it's interesting. Oh, and anyway, so to get back to this competitor and partner situation, you've had that with many game companies. For example, Obsidian was a company that was often called upon to make part 2 of another game company's franchises. So, for example, when Bethesda bought Fallout after Fallout 1 and 2 had been released, to make Fallout 3, they hired Obsidian and said, here, use this 3D engine, make this game. And, they did that, and then Bethesda, I don't know if they bought a studio or if they just founded one from scratch, but eventually they took it in-house. And now Fallout 4, for example, wasn't made by Obsidian anymore. But if you look at the Outer Worlds, you look at this game and go like, this looks very Fallout to me in some ways, And you can tell that, people who made some of the design decisions leading to Fallout 3, were also involved in designing the Outer Worlds. But, they had a different engine, they used different technology, it was a different era, they had to run on, a different console generation, so there are a lot of differences. And of course they didn't have the IP. So one mean thing here is if you go out here, it seems, there is this path that goes straight out. Kind of like you have it here. When you come out, you kind of see this is the way to go. But actually it feels round. It goes further a little. So here it actually feels more obvious that there is something here in the back. Whereas here in the old version, you had to actively turn around to see, oh, there is a path turning off here. So basically they flipped the floor platforms here. Like, you see the straight bit is now basically what goes back, and the round bit is mostly what is in front. So it's more obvious that there might be something behind you. Which, you know, I actually would not say that... I'm not sure that change was strictly necessary. Like, it would have been a nice change in the old version with the 2D navigation. But once you come out here and you know you can turn around, I think it's much more likely that people would spot, oh, there is another path out here. You know, you just walk out here and see, wait, there is something turning off here or so. But anyway, you know, it feels fairly, you know, both approaches work really nice, and I guess this makes it a little more obvious that not as many people miss the way back here. I'm kind of sad that these are all sliding doors. I get the problem, but, you know, it just doesn't feel real. See here, that was a door that just turned inward. Why didn't they just make them all doors that go inward? Oh, nice music. Okay. There's a knife and a bottle of wine, I guess, and a lot of destroyed furniture again. And I guess that's the colorful ink that we saw where the book pages suddenly changed colors. Oh, and here's a red page. So let's walk in here. What was that clicking sound just now? That was weird. Okay, let's go here for the comparison. Yeah, it's basically the same room. It's stylistically basically the same room. The lampshades are a different style. It's all more brass. But, you know, overall, this is more just a graphical update. Oh, blue cheese, I guess. Cookies. Cookie. Oh. Vault access, Island of Myst. In very plain view on Myst, and access can be easily if the symbol followed. First locate switches on the island. Of these switches, go to the dock. Turn the marker switch to the off position. I don't know if that comes across as well on stream. It's as if there is a bit of a stain over dock or something, and I wonder if that's one of the randomized puzzle solutions. That said, I remember from the original game that this was on the dock. So, not sure. So something with switches. I hope we'll find the other half or something. Okay, I guess this is... Oh, we can actually check how different it looks. So first... Oh. There's another knife. Ah, the paper here is in a drawer under the bed. Plain view. There it also says go to the dock. Let's see. Nothing in that drawer. Interesting. The blue cheese is basically black here. That's interesting. I guess it's supposed to have been here for a long while. Oh, and that drawer chest isn't there. That's fascinating. Okay. Okay, but here... Right, that was the one that just had a knife in it, right? Okay, so... I guess they basically put one of the underbed drawers here and just put the solution here on this. Again, I guess that's probably a VR thing. Okay, let's pick up the red page. And now here's something interesting. In the old Myst, you could only carry one page in the original. In the new one, you can actually carry multiple. So I'm very curious actually to try out what we can do. Oh, this is gorgeous, by the way. In the old game, you see that they actually made it so you have a view of the windmill out of the window. Which, you know, again, that's a bit of work in the old game, because they had to render a specific movie here. Okay, and here, this is interesting. The glass here is kind of... I'm not sure you'd call it stained glass, but like fractured glass or something. So you can actually not see much detail of the windmill or the trees. Which I wonder, is that... Yeah, I mean, you can see everything over there. So I guess that's just... they wanted some fancy glass. And showcase what their engine can do. I first thought, you know, maybe it keeps you from seeing that this is the low resolution model or something. But this model actually looks totally fine, you know. And of course, like, you see, like, the windmill is much closer out of the window in the old version. Wait, let's switch back here. And now that we've been in the backwards location, let's head forward. I should probably, since I want to do a test, I should probably, yeah, do a save. That looks pretty... Wait, here, yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty much the same. This spot. Okay. Another door. That looks a bit dangerous. Okay. Interesting though. Here there's a gate. Okay, so we can't just walk through here. There seems to be a door back there, so maybe... That doesn't sound good. This doesn't look good. He sounded like Jabba the Hutt. And he has a thing that might as well take someone's head off. That's not nice. Let's go. Okay. Looks fairly similar. Except... Oh no, there is an open door behind this. Okay. I think my biggest problem with the suns is that the mouth, is like a line on the outside and then kind of like a round thing in the middle, you know, and it just feels not like a human mouth. Okay. Okay, this is the path. And here is the gate for if we want back. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and here there actually is a gate, but it starts out open. Interesting. Not sure what that was supposed to be then. Whether it's just a bug or... Oh, what's this? Okay. Okay. I remember in the book that we read in the library, it said something about the sons were much faster at learning that language. That was less spooky than you remembered it. Yeah, I guess the one in the old game again, I think feels a little better, but even that is surprisingly bright and friendly. Oh, now I want to know something, and that is... Oh, there's a blue page. Okay. Whoops. Alright. Okay. Now I guess I know where that clicking sound came from. The microphone doing something weird. Oh, that switches. Ugh, I almost thought I'd fall down here.
I hope I pushed the right button, my dear brother. What a very interesting device you have here. I'm not erasing anything important in mind. Remember, he is preparing. Take only one page, my dear brother.
Take only one page, my dear brother. Okay. Okay, now I wanna just make sure that I didn't hallucinate that. Yeah.
I hope I pushed the right button, my dear brother. What a very interesting device you have here. I'm not erasing anything important in mind.
So we're basically almost back at the front where we arrived, or so, which is interesting. Okay, so here we can pick up both pages. And you can kind of like tell, like in classic adventure games, you know, you had an inventory, so the old version kind of expects to have an inventory, and that's why it shows the page at the... Oh, you can't see that. Here is the page behind me. And so what I'm going to do now is... Again, it's not a sliding door. Let's do a save here, because... Yep. And again, here it's in a different location. Here it was on a table, and that table doesn't exist in the old version. There's just an empty corner here. But instead it's... the page is on the floor. Yeah, and now you see, it replaced the red page with the blue page. So I can only carry one page at a time in the old version. And I guess that's also why you can drop a page. Which I find an interesting change in design, because I guess what they noticed was... So I guess the original idea was you would go through and only collect one color of page. But what most people did was they would go back and get the other color as well. And so it was a bit annoying to have to constantly walk back and forth. Well, let's see. The blue page is actually the better one for the old version, I think, because the red page is a little easier to get to, because it's just behind the exit. So that makes sense. So now we have the pages. And now we need to find our way back. But it's interesting that Cirrus and Akanar are on their own floor from the rest of the village. Excuse me. Whoops. I should probably switch back to making the game big. And now you can see better in the corner, by the way, that the page is now blue. Sorry. Again, forgot that if I'm zoomed in, you can actually see the page. By the way, this is a slight difference between the original version. The original Myst was... what was it? So the original max screen size was either 512 by 342 or 512 by 384. So 512 by 342 was the original black and white size, which, you know, Myst did not have to run in. 512 by 384 was the smallest color monitor Apple sold at the time. And then you could also get a bigger Mac with 640 by 480 color displays. So that was kind of the most common, smallest sizes that that Cyan had to account for. And so given, you know, the transition effects and the loading from disk and everything, you know, was limited in bandwidth, the movies were not able to be full screen. They actually chose a slightly smaller size, and I think it's something like I don't know, but it was like an odd size. So you had black bars, extra black bars, because the displays back then also had black bars, so that all the pixels were in the straight area of the tube and not at the edges where it slowly became, you know, bent. So Max had a black frame around everything in general anyway. Some manufacturers put, you know, plastic overlapping that instead. But that was basically what they did. Was it was a smaller size, and then they went and had these pages underneath the graphics. So in the black bar. Which, yeah. And in the mobile version, they actually changed that so it was inside. I think they probably re-rendered the images for the mobile version in larger resolution as well. Because I think the iPhone had basically more pixels. Alright, let's go back down with the elevator. And go back here as well. Oh, right. It doesn't go down unless the door is... I don't know why they still do this. Like, why they don't just, you know, automatically close the door for you. It kind of feels like such a annoying mechanic to have in a game. You can also see that the window here is a lot larger, and you can see through the gaps between the boards, you can see yourself, you can see the elevator, like, going past. Like, so basically, you have full screen in the new version. You see your... because computers are just faster, and in the original Myst, all those gaps are closed. And the door just has this little window through which, and that little window is the box for the movie. Alright, so I guess we'll go down the stairs and see if we can do anything with the water. And yeah, like in 3D, going down these spiral stairs is still not quite pleasant. Because you constantly, like, you can probably hear my mouse clonking sideways on the desk. Alright, so I guess we're done in that corner for now. So let's switch in both levels. Alright. And then let's head forward and see what is here. Oh, this is the elevator we took up. We don't really need that anymore. So I guess we can switch that over. Oh, and now water comes out here. Interesting. Okay. Let's see how that looked in the old version. Okay, I don't think I see any water going down here, so either I forgot to switch something in the old version, or they just didn't have, I guess they didn't have an animation for that. Okay. Oops. Okay, I don't know what this dead end is. Ah, but here, that's the next thing. So let's go back here. Tilt the lever. That's the dead end. You see so much farther in the 3D game. Just the view distance is so much better. Let's see, does that work now? Oh, that looks fancy. Ah, nice. So the question is, what happens if I switch this over now? Okay, there's no water on that side. There's only water here, so let's switch that over and go back and see. Oh, okay, the bridge stays up. That's good to know. So let's... Okay. I'm doing something wrong in the old Myst, it seems. So let's switch the volume back up and find out where we're losing the water. Ah, here. Now. Yeah, that's a little loud, but it works. And now we gotta figure out where we want the water to go. But I guess once we've crossed the bridge, yes. So that's where the water should go. And my guess is that's the interruption? Yes. So now once we're over here, we can crank this out. Okay. And now if we turn the water back on... Oh, I think it actually already is on. And I guess this lets us grab the elevator. Okay, that doesn't work. Did I just turn it off, or... No, that really seems to be just the call button. For if, in case we want to go back in, I guess. Okay, so... I guess the water sounds here are just the pond. Not actually the pipes. Alright. This goes towards the dead end. This is where we want the water to go. Yeah, and now here. Now we should be good. Okay, and now let's try to do the same. Okay, go through in the old one. Crank, oops. Crank the crank. And again, that's just a movie. I don't have to crank anything. That's interesting. The other one, the crank here in the new version. No, I think I actually only just clicked it and it cranked out as well. Anyway. Now let's go back. Let's see. Yeah, and here especially, it gets a little annoying. No, okay, that's the wrong one. Let's go back to the start, or at least close to it. Bit of a rendering glitch there. So I think we need to switch this here, go here, and the other one on the right. So that one's already set right. That one's already set left. Okay, so now we're in the same spots. And now we run back. This is just so much easier in the 3D version. Oh, and it's so much prettier. I mean, look at all this. And just that you can, you know, in the distance see all the spots. Like, they're fuzzy enough that if you haven't seen them before, you wouldn't immediately know what they are. But, you know, they're still clear enough that you can recognize them and find your way to them again. Yeah, okay, this works. Let's... Oh, I forgot to switch back again, didn't I? Well, okay, now we're back in the old one, so that's fine. And now there should be enough water. Yeah, that elevator works as well. Alright, let's open the door, and yes, as expected, there is a book back to Myst. And I like that just has the library on it. That's such a nice new touch. Compared to a book that, you know, has the letters Myst, which, you know, like, it's an iconic symbol for the Myst series, I guess. This white-ish book that says Myst. Alright, so let's head back and do the same here with the library Myst book.
Bring more. I must have some more. That's all I ask of you. Long. It's been so long since my brother, Cirrus, wrongfully imprisoned me within this book. Stupid schemes. Pretty speech. It's been greed, which is endless. It should be perfectly obvious to you. He's done evil and he has destroyed all before. Do not bring the red pages to him. You must not let him trick you. He tricked our father. Hideously murdered our father. He'll trick you. He'll murder you. Don't touch the red pages. I beg you to bring the blue pages to me. Listen, you must obey me. Blue pages are my only hope. You must help me. You must help me.
Alright. Now we can do the same in the present. And I like this, you know, like, you don't really need a manipulatable inventory, so a really great update is just that you click a page and, you know, it kind of zips to the bottom of the screen, kind of indicating you probably have it now. And then when you come back here, it pops on the shelf. So you immediately know, okay, I can do something with this now. The same with the blue page. It's, it's less direct manipulation. Like in the old game, with the pages at the bottom of the screen, what you would actually do is you would click them and drag them onto the books. At least I think it might be that you could just click them and they would pop to the book. I don't remember. But like this way, this helps you a little.
Have returned. Additional page. From my prison on this forgotten island of Myst. I see that you are. I am called Sirius. I need all the red pages I need. Must search. Bring me. 2 more with red. And I am released. I promise. Warning, don't touch the blue pages. It's where my brother, wicked brother, he is a man of distorted mind and senses. He disgusts me. Do not release me. Thirst for destruction is none. Never ending. Bring the red page. I beg you, please, release me from this prison. I promise you will be greatly rewarded. You must help me. I beg you to help me.
See, the original guys were proper scary. Yeah, it's... I have to say, I think my biggest... Like, in general, all the changes they've made in this game, I'm fine with them. Like, adding handles to these things, making it look less like a mystery and more obvious that you can interact with them, having some of these things look older, or less fancy, or more mechanical. All of these things are kind of... They're updates that are okay, and they don't do anything really to my enjoyment of the game. But the CGI people, they don't work for me. Alright, so... we're close to our break, but we should try and... Like, look at this fireplace and look at this one. I mean, looks much nicer. And, looks more like a fireplace and less like a puzzle. Okay, so, we're close to ending this stream and taking our first break, but I want to just quickly go back and grab the second page. The controls are really... I'm frantically swiping up here, and the wheel is not really moving much. would be nice if that picture in the background kind of showed what state the tree is in. You know, just, you know, maybe some sort of indicator. Oops. I guess we can do the brother again.
You brought for me. Oh, I must have some more. If I ask of you, no. Since my brother Cirrus wrongfully imprisoned me within this book, stupid scheme. Pretty speech has been. Greed which is endless. Be perfectly obvious to you. Evil and has destroyed all but four. Do not bring the red pages to him. You must not let him trick you. Tricked our father. Hideously murdered our father. He'll trick you. He'll murder you. Don't touch the red pages. You to bring the blue pages. Listen to me. Listen. You must obey me. Blue pages are my only hope. You must help me. You must help me.
Just too late when I remember to maybe switch over. Okay, so let's leave that blue book alone. And go and try to find our way back up. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and maybe turn up the audio again. Okay, where is... Here's the stairs. And the stairs have the elevator that goes up to the page. So that's where I need to switch the water to first. And then we go up. Up, up, up. Do, 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 do. All right. And elevate ourselves up. And now, luckily, the red page is here. And is it this drawer? No. Is it this drawer? No. Not this drawer. Here. Okay, we've got the red page. Again, it popped up here behind me. And so now we can go back down. It's probably quite hard to imagine how amazing having a game like this must have been back then, especially compared to the new one. Once you see that, but it was a really impressive game and impressive technology for the time. You know, like, keep in mind, like, your hard disk. I'm trying to remember how much hard disk space I had back then. I think I might have had about 250 megabytes maybe. And you know, this game was on a CD with 650. So just keep that in mind. You know, this game was an amount of graphics and movies that were hard. You know, that you usually didn't have. It wasn't like today where you had your entire music collection on your PC. Alright, yeah, that's the bridge and it's still there. Good. Such a mean puzzle, kind of, you know, like have this one spot where you have to transfer the water, but then you have to walk on the other one, and both need to be turned on, and only after you've turned on the walkway can you actually go and turn on the water. Alright, so you see this is a fairly quick, you change one water switch from the previous state, basically, and what sound? You've changed one lever to redirect the water, and you can go back. So they did have in mind that maybe someone might want to come back and test both. And grab both pages. And to this day, I don't remember which one was Cirrus and which one was Akanar. And that's after one of them said, I am this name. So we'll see. I think the red guy mentioned it. So I think we'll hear now which one it will be.
Have returned. Additional page. Free from my prison on this forgotten island of Myst. I see that you are. I am called Cirrus. I need all the red pages. I know. Must search and bring 2 more of the red pages. I am released, I promise. Don't touch the blue pages. That is where my mind. For my wicked brother, Akanar. He is a man of distorted mind and senses. He disgusts me. Do not release Akanar. Thirst for destruction is not never ending. Bring the red page. Beg you, please release me from this prison. I promise you will be greatly rewarded. You must help me. Help me.
You assume the rounder one is Akanar and the thinner one is Cirrus because A's are broad and I's are thin. That's actually good mnemonic now that he said that his brother is Akanar, so blue guy is Akanar and Cirrus is red guy. Yeah, that's actually a good way to do it. But yeah, I'm kind of sad that they went with these CGI characters. Like, I understand why. Like, in, was it Myst 5 at the least? They have, all CGI characters. And in Uru as well. So it kind of makes sense that they want to, you know, that they kind of trying to go in the same direction. But yeah, they just don't work for me. I mean, you know, this is very hammy. You know, you can tell it's full motion video from the 90s. Or at least the same style as full motion video from the 90s. And you know that they're programmers, they're not professional actors, or programmers is maybe even, you know, a graphic sound designer is, I think, what Cirrus's actor, Ryan, I think, Miller, is, and Rand Miller, who plays Atris and Akanar, is what did I want to say? Oh, that reminds me, we forgot to do something. At the very start of the game, we found this. Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our fort chamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on this island into the imager to retrieve the message. Yours, Atris. Because I said Rand Miller plays Atris, and we haven't seen Atris yet. Okay, so let's find out how many of these switches do we have. There's one here. One here, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we can't take a shortcut here. So there's 5 up here. I don't think we've counted this one yet. 6. And the dock one is number 7. And here is number 8. And I guess that's it. So let's see if I counted right. That's not a marker switch. Let's see if that was the right number.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Akanar. But I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. I should have known not to have left my library unchecked for so long. I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in the places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access key, remember the tower rotation, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. See you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've used it, just to be safe.
Okay, I was just a bit confused about the sounds and then realized I hadn't muted the old game yet. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, that Atris looks very different. And now we'll do the same in the old game. Oh, and that means we should probably turn up the audio again. Okay, and let me just get out of the audio of the new game. And now...
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
So that's that's something you would have found if you had played the game, would have found right at the start of the game. And so, you know, the hint of the tower rotation is a good one. We've already done that. And we get, you know, the premise. Okay, the sons, one of them did it. So that's interesting. And of course, what they tell us is the other one did it so far. And what we also find out here is he says, erase this message once you've seen it. So that means wherever Catherine is, she has not read or she has not seen this message yet. Which, you know, makes it even more difficult. Like, to guess what happened, I guess. But it's a nice little detail. Okay, so, this is it with Channelwood Age for today. So, next we'll run around and try to find another age to explore. So, see you after a short break.